All right, guys. So we have some news about some comments that Nancy Pelosi made that's going to piss off a lot of progressives, right? The progressive base that thought that Biden would be the most progressive president ever, right? Nancy Pelosi said some things that are going to rain on their parade.
People think that the President of the United States has the power for debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. That has to be an act of Congress. And I don't even like to call it forgiveness because that implies a transgression. It's not to be forgiven. Just freeing people from those obligations. So the question of who gets forgiven, to use the term of art that is out there, is a debate. Do we use whatever money there is for the broadest base of support of those with more people with even less debt or fewer people with more debt? That's a policy discussion. But the difference between the president can't do it. So that's not even a discussion. Not everybody realizes that, but the president can only postpone, delay, but not forgive. That would be an attitude that people would have. But even take it on top of that, suppose your family was not, your child just decided they want to, at this time, not want to go to college, but you're paying taxes to forgive somebody else's obligations. You may not be happy about that. But you know what? We want all of our kids to reach their fulfillment. To the extent that they want to go to college, we do not want them to be prohibited from doing that for financial reasons. I've had high school students come in here and say with their grades, they're able to be accepted in the Ivy League here and there, but their family's economic situation does not enable that to happen because they have to stay close to home to work, to be part of the family situation. So what we'd like to do is have an economy that is fair, that gives opportunity, and does not hold anybody back because of financial reasons. And again, how some people may view the relieving people of this obligation has to be viewed in a fair way, where we have something that gives opportunity. That's the big word, opportunity, to all of America's families. Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's Nancy Pelosi basically addressing student loan debt forgiveness. I mean, and she's sounding a lot like a Republican there, right? She's saying things like, hey, suppose your child decides that they don't want to go to college, and then you're paying taxes to forgive somebody else's obligations. That is a Republican argument. And this is interesting because Chuck Schumer has indicated that Biden can actually forgive student loan debt himself, right? Through executive action, Biden can forgive student loan debt. A lot of progressives have been saying that, along with Chuck Schumer, which kind of indicated to me that, okay, maybe the establishment really wants to do this. Maybe the establishment Democrats are on board with this, right? However, Nancy Pelosi came out and kind of walked that back, where she said the president cannot forgive student loan debt by himself, right? He can push it back, he can freeze payments, he can do all that type of stuff, but he cannot just forgive it, right? That has to be done through an act of Congress. So now you have the Democrat Speaker of the House versus the Democrat Senate Majority Leader saying two things that are contradictory to each other. And that, to me, guys, indicates that Biden really does not want to forgive student loan debt, right? Because Biden's been hesitant. He's been hesitant. Okay? He's been talking about how, hey, maybe I'll do $10,000, but I'm not doing $50K. I'm not forgiving everybody student loan debt. The most I'll probably do is $10,000. But up until now, Biden hasn't even really moved on that. Okay? He hasn't even moved on that. And guys, this is a big deal for 2022 because we all know that historically speaking, the GOP should win in 2022, right? They should take back the House or the Senate, right? They should win in 2022. However, what that really is going to come down to is one, can the GOP stay together, right? And come out and vote against Democrats? But also it's going to depend on if the progressives actually decide to show up to the polls, right? If the progressives show up, it's a good chance that the Democrats will keep the House and the Senate in 2022. If they don't show up, it's a good chance that they will lose. That's basically what it comes down to. So the Biden administration is kind of playing with fire here because they promised to forgive student loan debt along with a bunch of other promises that they made that they're not going to keep, right? And this promise right here, the student loan debt forgiveness, is probably one of the biggest issues of the core Democrat progressive base. Them voting on this issue, in my opinion, is going to make a lot of people not vote for them in 2022 because at this point, what would they have actually gotten from the Biden administration? What promises had the Biden administration fulfilled at this point? They couldn't even get the $2,000 check right. Couldn't even get that right. Okay? The Democrats have spent most of their time pandering and grandstanding about race and voting rights and voting for them, aka giving them power and going after Trump, but they haven't executed on anything else. They have not executed on anything else, right? All the promises they made. So this could lead to some backlash because at some point they're going to be like, okay, why should I vote for you guys, right? Trump's not in office anymore. Why should I keep voting for y'all if you're not going to do anything? What's the point of getting rid of filibuster if you're not even going to do things that you can do or theoretically can do through just executive action? And like I said, guys, I personally really don't know. I read into whether or not the president can actually forgive student loan debt. Apparently, he can try, but there probably will be some lawsuits. Okay, there will probably be some pushback in regards to the actual legalities of it. Okay, so I think it's really a gray area, to be quite honest with you. Otherwise, if it wasn't, I couldn't imagine that the leader of the Senate and the House Speaker are going to be disagreeing on this issue and they're in the same party. I just can't imagine. But guys, I mean, something else I want to talk about here. I'm about to rant on the Republicans again because they're just missing opportunities. Okay, with an issue like this, right, with student loan debt, Republicans are missing the opportunity because the Democrats are going to frustrate their base with the fact that they're not executing on any of their progressive priorities. However, there are conservative solutions to progressive issues. And the Republican Party should actually take up this issue of student loan debt and they should own it. They should come up with some conservative ideas outside of just forgiving student loan debt that is going to help prevent people from getting in a ton of debt in the first place. Right, guys, I told you, I think I told you guys a long time ago, I had this idea in which I thought about starting a nonprofit that would put kind of these financial advisors in high schools that their only job is to talk to kids about which colleges they can afford to go to, talk about their FAFSA, right? Which, you know, Trump simplified FAFSA, right? Towards the end of his term. That's one of the things I really like that Trump did. He simplified that process. That's a very confusing document for a lot of people. It gets a lot of people in trouble in terms of realizing how much money they're actually spending on going to college, right? You could have somebody talk to students and guide them on their college choices, their majors, their careers, how much it's going to cost, and basically give them an estimated return on investment in terms of what may be the best college for them, right? That will help them make a better financial decision, right? Because the reason why this student loan debt thing is a problem is because, one, well, the government is basically willing to give out an unlimited amount of money for students to go to college. But the other problem is that these students are just not making good choices about where to go to college, They are taking out massive loans, right, to go to these private colleges and then major in sociology or psychology or gender studies. They're majoring in things that are not going to get them a positive return on investment on their degree. And that's something that a lot of high school students are not thinking about. So I think that the Republicans, they should own this, right? They should come out and say, listen, Democrats are not trying to do anything for you guys on student loan debt. Here's what we want to do as conservatives. We don't want to just forgive people's debts, but what we want to do is we want to make it so people don't end up getting in debt in the first place. We want to help kids make better choices. So we're going to do that. We're going to work on legislation that's going to help mitigate this problem at its root. Because, guys, I'm not against borrowing money to go to school. I think borrowing money to go to school is fine. I have no issue with that system being in place. But the problem is that the system is being abused. I mean, the government is technically making money off of it, but still, it's at the cost of a lot of people being hampered with a ton of debt. And the problem with student loan debt forgiveness is that the people that are going to benefit the most are going to be people that really should be able to pay back their debt, and people that made really silly decisions about where to go to school and what to major in, right? And what to do with their careers. Because you got a lot of people that have massive amount of student loan debt, like doctors, lawyers, engineers, things like that had to go to these graduate schools and stay in school for 10, 12 years before they start their career, in which they get paid, a whole lot of money, 6 figures. They should be able to pay back their student loan debt. Student loan debt forgiveness is going to be helping a lot of those people, right? It's going to be helping a lot of those people, okay? So like I said, I do think that there is a conservative solution to this problem, and Republicans have to do better than just not doing anything, right? Just saying that the Democrats are bad. At some point, you have to take some of these issues that the Democrats are failing with on their progressive base and propose some conservative solutions. They say, hey, you know what? We're not going to forgive it, but we'll help people avoid getting into this situation in the first place. We will educate you. And the reason why I think that the Republicans should start doing this is because it shows that they actually care about the problem, that they're thinking about solutions to the problem, and that they're trying to take on these issues, right? They have to be more vocal about these things, right? The thing is, when it comes to the progressives and the progressive solutions, they're not realistic. It's never going to happen. And they may not ever be happy with conservative solutions, but it at least shows that you're working on a solution, that you actually do care about the problem. And that's way better than just not talking about it and ignoring it. Because the Republican Party, they have to expand the base. You have to start going after young people hard, right? Going after issues that they care about. Expand the base, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.